Welcome to Sounds of Brass.
And welcome to this week's Brass Band World News, your weekly journey through the performances, stories and personalities shaping the global brass band community. Over the next 15 minutes, I'll bring you the contest updates, international collaborations, community stories, and a look ahead at what's coming up in the brass banding world. This week's top stories: a regional contest season heats up as bands across the UK and Europe reveal their final rehearsal updates. A major youth brass band partnership launches a new cross-border training initiative. A Scandinavian brass festival draws record audiences and premieres several new works. A long-established community band celebrates its 150th anniversary with a special gala concert, and a new study explores the impact of brass banding on mental well-being and community cohesion. More on all those stories coming in shortly. The contest season is approaching and bands across the UK and Europe are deep into their final preparations. In the championship section, several top-flight bands have reported strong progress on their test pieces, with the conductors praising the commitment shown during intensive rehearsals. Many ensembles have been holding open run-throughs, giving supporters a chance to hear the music before the final contest day. Across Europe, preparations are equally energetic. Bands in the Netherlands, Belgium and Switzerland have been sharing rehearsal clips and behind-the-scenes updates. Building excitement for the early spring contest, adjudicators have noted that this year's repertoire is particularly demanding, with complex rhythmic writing and exposes solo lines testing even the most experienced players. A new highlight this week comes from the youth banding world. A new cross-border initiative has been launched between youth brass organisations in the United Kingdom, Germany and Norway. The programme will offer joint workshops, online masterclasses and exchange visits, giving young musicians the chance to learn from international tutors and experience different rehearsal cultures. Organisers say the goal is to broaden musical horizons, build confidence and strengthen the next generation of brass band performers. Early sign-ups have exceeded all expectations, with many young players eager to take part in collaborative projects. Also, over in Scandinavia has been buzzing with brass this week as a major festival drew record audiences. The event featured a mix of professional ensembles, youth bands and community groups, with several world premieres from emerging composers. Workshops on improvisation, ensemble leadership and contemporary brass techniques were particularly well received. Festival organisations say they hope to expand the event next year, potentially adding an outdoor stage and a dedicated youth composer showcase. Closer to home now, a long-established community band celebrated its 150th anniversary with a gala concert featuring former players, guest conductors and a master band finale. The event highlighted the band's deep roots in its local community, with stories shared about generations of families who have played in the ensemble. A commemorative exhibition showcased old uniforms, handwritten scores and photographs dating back to the early 1900s. Meanwhile, several bands across the UK have also been running come and try sessions aimed at attracting new players, Early reports suggest a strong interest from adults returning to music after a very long break. The Royal Northern College of Music International Brass Band Festival saw a presentation to long-serving Fordhams member Andy Rolfe, who leaves the band after 19 years' service. During this time, Andy has been an active part of the band's management team and will now take up the role of trustee. Due to Andy leaving on third cornet, there has been some movement on the back row, with the experienced Adrian Lacey joining on second cornet. Adrian was a long-serving member of the Staffordshire Building Society band, where he played principal cornet for 10 years, followed by a spell at Grimethorpe on solo cornet. Following the departure of bumper-up Paul MacDonald in December, the Royal Northern College of Music concert also saw John Probert move up to the position from solo cornet, with Darcy Dewhurst joining on the front row. Darcy joins from Blackburn and Darwin, where she was at principal cornet, as well as being a solo cornet with the National Youth Brass Band of Great Britain. Principal cornet with Lancashire Youth Band, and studying at the Royal Northern College of Music under the guidance of Roger Webster. A newly published study this week explored the impact of brass band participation on mental well-being. Researchers found that regular ensembles playing can reduce stress, improve social confidence, and strengthen community bonds, findings that many musicians will recognise from their own experiences. Based on research into the impacts of group music making, participating in a brass band provides a significant physical, psychological and social benefits, acting as a form of therapeutic engaging for many players. Key findings regarding the impact on mental well-being include stress reduction and relaxation, where players often describe rehearsals as a form of meditation, allowing them to focus 100% on music and providing a cleansing psychological experience. Mental health recovery. Acting participants help individuals manage emotions, providing a creative outlet that can aid in recovery from mental health challenges such as anxiety and depression. Improved social connection. The community aspects of banding fosters a strong sense of belonging and social interaction, which acts as a buffer against loneliness. Confidence and resilience. The challenges of learning to play, rehearsing and competing can enhance self-esteem, determination and cognitive function. While the majority of report impacts are positive, some studies also identified that competition-related pressures can cause stress from certain members. Overall, the findings suggest that the combination of music, community and routine contributes to improved overall mental and emotional health. And in the world of new music, several composers have announced upcoming works for brass band, including a suite inspired by coastal landscapes and a concerto for tenor horn. Bands preparing spring concerts are already expressing interest in programming these new pieces. Now let's jump into the world of our new young rising stars. This week's profile focuses on a young principal cornet player who has quickly become one of the rising stars of the banding scene. Known for their lyrical sound and calm stage presence, they've currently taken on guest soloist roles with several ensembles and are preparing for their first solo recording project. Kyle Lawson, who was appointed as the new principal cornet player of the Corey Band, which was announced in December 2025, January 2026. He is a decorated player with multiple championship titles in New Zealand and Australia, recognised for his international pedigree. We also highlight a conductor who has just marked 25 years with the brass band, a milestone celebration with a surprise presentation at rehearsal and a special encore at the latest concert. Based on the 4-Bar Rest news, Tom Hancock completed 25 years of service with Lions Youth Brass, specifically with their Academy Band in 2022, and as of 2026, he is recognised for his long-term contribution, having also established a partnership with Audley Brass. While other long-serving conductors are active, this specifically marks a 25-year tenure with a youth brass organisation announced in the 4-Bar Rest Hall of Fame. Now, while no major contests took place this week, several ranking organisations have released updated tables based on performances from the past few months. A handful of top-tier European bands have edged upwards thanks to strong autumn results, while several UK bands remain tightly grouped in the middle of the table positions. Analysts expect significant movement once the regional contest begins next month. Also, the organisations of the North of England Brass Band Championships have now confirmed the names of the adjudicators at this year's regional competition on the 21st and 22nd of March at the Gala Theatre to be held in Durham. 2 bands in each section will be invited to represent the region at the Royal Albert Hall and Cheltenham National Finals. The adjudicators are Championship section Stephanie Binns and Anne Cruxton. The first section, Anne Cruxton and David Roberts. Second section, Stephanie Binns and Martin Hartfield. Third section, David Roberts and Martin Hartfield. And in the fourth section, it will be Alan Fernie and Matthew Whitefield. Regional Secretary Tony Griffiths commented by saying, "We hope they and their supporters have a great weekend as we welcome our adjudicators. We look forward to the deliberations alongside welcoming everyone back to the finest contest." As bands across the UK begin their preparations for their respective regional contests in the coming weeks, Tredegar Band is hosting a preview evening ahead of the Welsh regional contest on the 14th and 15th of March. There will be 4 bands performing at the preview evening, each from a different section. The featured bands are as follows: Mid Rhondda Band, 3rd section; Cross Keys Silver Band, 2nd section; Park and Dare Band, 1st section; and the Tredegar Town Band, the Championship section. Come and support these amazing organisations as they put the final preparations for the Welsh Regional Contest on Friday the 13th of March at 7 p.m. at the Tonfrail Community School. And before we finish, here's what's coming up in the weeks ahead. Final rehearsals continue for regional contests across the United Kingdom as bands prepare for the start of the contest season being held in Blackpool with the North West Regional Championships, which kick off on the 1st of March 2026. Several bands are preparing to premiere new works at their spring concerts. Youth bands exchange programs will begin their first online sessions, and the community bands everywhere are gearing up for the busy season of concerts, workshops and outreach events. And that brings us to the end of this week's edition of your Brass Band World News here in the newsroom of Sounds of Brass Radio. Thank you for joining me, and whether you're rehearsing, performing, teaching, or simply listening, let's keep brass banding alive and the banding spirit strong. Until next time, I'm Peter Webster with your Sounds of Brass weekly brass band entertainment, and Brass Band World News.